Welcome everyone. Myself Ashish Venkatesh Prabhugamka, Assistant Professor at DCT's Dempe College of Arts and Science, Miramar, Panji, Goa. This module is for Bachelor of Science third year, Botany, semester 6. Course code is BOD105. Course title is Nursery and Gardening. Title of this unit is Nursery. Module name is Nursery Layout, Building up of Infrastructure for Nursery. In this module, we'll learn how to lay a nursery and what are the prerequisites for laying a nursery. What are the building up infrastructures required for running a nursery. At the end of this module, we should be able to make a layout for the nursery wherein as per our need and building of infrastructure, we'll have the knowledge of what are the infrastructure needed for nursery. The nursery site, first of all, should be located in a place where we have nutrient-rich soil medium. The nursery require a lot of soil, which in medium in which the plants are raised. So we require nutrient-rich medium, which should be readily available. We cannot bring it from some other place all the time. So we should the nursery is located in a place where we have abundance of this soil, which is good quality. Also, the nursery should be located to near a source of water, which is a perennial source of water. It should be free from soil pathogens and insects and pests. It should be actually free away from the thick forest, which may be source of insects and pests, and it should be a pristine area. A cleanliness should be maintained around the nursery to get so that the soil pathogens and insects doesn't become a problem for nursery. Availability of cheap and skilled laborers to work in the nursery is also becomes a important factor in for starting a nursery in a place. Nursery should give good access to a main road and easy transportation of the planted material should be possible. This is especially true for a nursery which is a commercial and large scale nursery. The site should be on a gently sloping area away from other tall crops. Good drainage should be there. Waterlogging, like in the rice fields where waterlogging takes place or low-lying areas, the nursery, those areas are not suitable for starting a nursery. It should be a gently sloping and well-drained place. An appropriate site must be selected for most effective, efficient, and economical design of the nursery. The purpose and target of plants to be produced will decide the site of selection and its improvement. The which kind of crop is to be propagated and the purpose also it plays a very important role in deciding the place where nursery is being started. The careful observation of the site conditions and assessment of the past and present climatic conditions, the waterlogging, for example, should be monitored so that the site selection should be done wisely to avoid the further losses to the place. The wind speed also should be a very important factor which may damage the younger plantlets and the greenhouses established. The selection of site also depends further on the purpose of establishing a nursery. The purposes of establishing a plant nursery can be diverse. The purpose may be serving a forestry or forest plantation, supporting an agroforestry initiative, supporting of various plantation drive like One Mahotsav, the Biodiversity Day, supplying of plantlets to the people. Nursery may be involved in grafting and budding of a particular horticultural crop. So the requirement will vary. The urban nursery involved in retailing of the plantlets which may be raised at the same place or which may be raised at some other place, and the place is only involved in a selling of the plant. Many of the nurseries are involved in hardening of the tissue cultural plants. Germinated hybrid seeds are hardened in a nursery. So such places require a different setup. So nursery as a practice performed in own farmland, where the plantlets are raised for use in own farmland. So in various ways the nurseries are raised, in many more ways which are described above, many more ways than the ones we described above. So layout should be planned. A person should have the technical know-how of the above factors or for which the nursery is raised before a layout is made. So we can make out that there is no standard blueprint of the design of the plant nursery exists. The nursery layout should be adapted to the various purposes and the practices and the skills which will be practiced in a particular place. Okay. On the contrary, each nursery will have unique design based on distinct needs, resources, and requirements. So generally, a layout of good nursery should plan for a water tank, pond, a pump house, a seed and fertilizer store, a implement shed, a germination or mother bed area, a potting or container filling area, a seedling raise area, the worker mess or hall. The workers should be also taken care, so that they have some place where the mess and other facilities can be provided. Or office room for dealing with all official work or maintenance of records of the nursery. Propagation structures, composting can save a lot of money for recycling of the nutrient of the organic waste generated. So all these things should be planned in a nursery layout. A nursery is usually arranged in series of beds with pathways between them. The plantlets are arranged in a series of beds which are placed, and there are pathways in between them for working on the plants which are kept, and also taking them out for final planting or inspection at various stages. An open area is needed at one end where work such as sieving of the soil, filling of the containers for the soil can be, or sterilization of the soil can be practiced. Usually, a room or shelter is required for staff and watchmen, and where equipment can be securely stored. Layout should be in such a way that it enables operations to flow logically through the nursery, to save labor and time. For example, the taking of the planting material, the heavy soil and the containers to a corner place will be difficult. So it should be planned properly. The operation should be planned properly for a smooth flow of material. Layout should be in such a way that it enables operation to flow logically through the nursery so as to save labor and time. Roads and paths within the nursery should be carefully planned. For example, the paths wherein the certain kind of plants are kept should be kept in such a way that the customer gets the access to the desired plants in a certain locality in a huge nursery place. The nursery facilities should be kept clean. Every effort should be made to control the weeds in and around the nursery so that the insect and pathogen infestation in nursery is controlled. And this is a model layout of a nursery wherein we can see various beds of the nursery which are kept in rows, and there are paths in between, and then various kinds of plantlets are raised in these beds. We can have the beds which are more protected, and maybe a shade is provided, which are hardening beds, and then the hardened plants can be transferred in the rearing beds. And then we can have the potting shed, we can have the hardening area for the more vulnerable plants, and we can have the greenhouse in that place. We can have compost shed which is located in the corner. We can have the seed germination areas. So various kind of areas should be well planned in a nursery. So this is a view of a standard nursery. This is a layout of a forest nursery or forest planting material. A place where the stock materials or mother plants are kept is also a very important for a larger nursery. Building up an infrastructure for a large nursery will have following points to consider. So, setting up a large nursery is a long-term venture, and it needs lot of technical know-how on the plants to be prepared, their pest and diseases, their quarantine practices for saving them from various pest and diseases, the propagation techniques followed in various plants like grafting, budding, the seed treatments, all these things, the technical know-how should be available with the person who is designing a layout of the nursery. The market segments the nursery want to cater should also be fixed beforehand, such as floriculture industry, forestry, urban nursery, vegetable nursery, nursery dedicated to the fixed horticulture crop. We have some nurseries which are dedicated only for mango grafting or rose budding. So the technical know-how of such techniques should be available with the person who is making a layout of the nursery, and such infrastructure needed for such nursery should be planned. The planting stock of superior quality plants kept disease free is main asset of the nursery. The nursery should build up the planting stock of good, vigorous mother plants which can be used for their grafting or budding or any other activities like collecting of the cuttings. So, the stock plant should be maintained carefully away from much accessed area so as to keep them disease free and prevent them from getting lost. There should be a proper record of the planting stock, and appropriate tagging of the maintenance register should be done. Irrigation techniques best suited for particular type of plants should be selected. Pest and disease incidents should be planned in advance. Interrelations between various factors planned should be understood. For example, irrigation can be linked with incidence of various diseases, especially foliar diseases in the ornamental plant will reduce its value. So the sprinkler irrigation should be avoided, which increases the incidence of foliar diseases. So such kind of information or knowledge is very important in planning a nursery. Specialized structures which will be needed like greenhouses, glass houses in the colder places, grafting shade in the warm places and sunny places. These things should be planned in advance. Wind barriers, drainage for flood water, shade from scorching sun to protect the plant, the protection from the cold injury. All these factors should be should be integral part of the design of a nursery. These are my reference. Thank you, students.